$9 an hour flipping burgers in a small-town diner. Nobody knew Marcus Reaper Thompson was Delta Force. 186 confirmed kills, master of close-quarters combat. When 4 armed men stormed Tony's diner with 12 hostages inside, they made one fatal mistake. They brought guns to a knife fight. And Marcus? He owned the kitchen. Welcome to The Last Salute, where we uncover the warriors hiding in plain sight. Before I tell you how a fry cook became a one-man army using nothing but kitchen utensils, smash that subscribe button if you believe these heroes deserve recognition. Trust me, you've never heard a story like this. What city are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. Let's see how far this story reaches. Tony's Diner, Millfield, Montana. Population 847. The kind of place where everybody knows everybody, except nobody really knew Marcus Thompson. He'd been flipping burgers and washing dishes for 18 months, showed up every morning at 5 a.m., left every night at 11 p.m. Quiet guy, polite, the kind of employee who never called in sick, never complained about overtime, never asked for raises. At 39 years old, Marcus looked exactly like what small-town America expected from a minimum wage cook: tired, beaten down, invisible, faded jeans, grease-stained apron, calloused hands that moved efficiently through prep work. But there were things about Marcus that didn't quite fit the profile. The way he arranged his knives, not randomly thrown in a drawer, but organized with military precision. Each blade clean, sharp, positioned for immediate access. The way he moved through the cramped kitchen, never wasted motion, always aware of everyone's position, instinctively keeping his back to walls. And the scars. Faded marks on his forearms that regular kitchen work couldn't explain. The kind of scars that came from combat, not cooking accidents. Sarah Martinez, the day shift waitress, had started noticing these things. The way Marcus's eyes tracked every customer who entered, how he memorized license plates in the parking lot, the fact that he always volunteered to take out the trash, giving him perfect sight lines of all approaches to the diner. She'd asked him once where he'd worked before Millfield. Different places, was all he'd said. If you're already hooked by this story, hit that subscribe button now, because what happens next will blow your mind. This is just the beginning. Tuesday afternoon, 2:17 p.m. The lunch rush was over. Only 12 people in the diner, 8 customers, 3 staff members, and Marcus in the kitchen. Regular day in a town where nothing ever happened. Marcus was prepping vegetables for dinner service when he heard the motorcycle engines outside. Not unusual. Millfield sat on a major highway, got plenty of road traffic. But these engines didn't pass by. They parked, 4 bikes. Marcus's hands never stopped chopping, but his attention shifted completely. Through the serving window, he watched 4 men enter. Leather jackets, bandanas covering faces, bulges under their clothing that meant weapons. They moved with purpose, spreading out to cover exits and angles. This wasn't a random stop for coffee. The lead man, tall and lean with prison tattoos covering his neck, approached the counter where Sarah stood frozen. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, loud enough for everyone to hear, "this is a robbery. Everyone stay calm, do exactly what we say, and nobody gets hurt." Marcus set down his knife and listened. "You 3, booth in the corner. Move. You 2 against the wall. Phones on the table, hands where I can see them." Professional. Organized. These weren't desperate amateurs. They'd done this before. Marcus crouched below the serving window and assessed. 4 armed men, 12 hostages, 1 narrow exit through the front door. Local police response time in Millfield was at least 15 minutes. State police maybe 30. Those people didn't have 15 minutes. "Where's the cook?" the leader demanded. Sarah's eyes flicked toward the kitchen. He's back there. Get him out here, now!" Marcus stood slowly, hands visible, playing the part of a terrified minimum wage worker. He walked through the swing doors into the dining area, shoulders hunched, eyes down. "There he is," the leader smiled. "Burger flipper. You're gonna be our insurance policy." The second gunman, stockier with a scraggly beard, grabbed Marcus by the shirt and shoved him toward the corner with the other hostages. "Sit down, shut up, and maybe you'll see tomorrow." Marcus sat. And while the robbers focused on emptying the register and demanding wallets, he did what Delta Force had trained him to do for 15 years. He studied the battlefield. Gunman 1. Leader, positioned near the front door, automatic pistol, confident but distracted by the cash count. Gunman 2, the one who'd grabbed him. Nervous energy, poor weapon discipline, standing too close to the hostages. Gunman 3, by the kitchen entrance. Older, experienced, eyes constantly moving. The dangerous one. Gunman 4, watching the parking lot through the window. Back turned to the room. Marcus memorized their positions, their patterns, their weapons. And then he started planning. Are you starting to see where this is going? If you want to see how a Delta Force operative turns a kitchen into a weapons arsenal, subscribe and keep watching. The next part is insane. I need to use the bathroom, Marcus said quietly. Gunman 2 looked at the leader, who nodded impatiently. Make it quick, and leave the door open. Marcus stood slowly and walked toward the back of the diner. But instead of the bathroom, he slipped into the kitchen. 18 months of working in this space had taught him every inch, every tool, every possible advantage. And Marcus Thompson knew how to weaponize anything. The commercial kitchen wasn't just a workplace. It was an armory waiting to be activated. 8-inch chef's knife, balanced, razor-sharp, silent. Cast iron skillet, 12 pounds of blunt force trauma. Industrial deep fryer, 350-degree oil, perfect for area denial. Meat tenderizer, compact, effective, intimidating. Butcher's cleaver, psychological warfare in steel form. But Marcus's real advantage wasn't the tools, it was the terrain. He knew every hiding spot, every angle, every way to move through this space without being seen. The robbers had made a tactical error. They'd let the one person who understood this environment operate in his own domain. Marcus grabbed the chef's knife and tested its balance. Perfect. Just like the combat knives he'd carried in Kandahar, Fallujah, and a dozen other places where American soldiers had needed someone like him. Time to go to work. Hey, where's the cook? Gunman 2 had noticed his absence. Bathroom, someone answered. Well, get him back here. Gunman 3 started toward the kitchen. Marcus was ready. The swing doors muffled sound perfectly. When Gunman 3 pushed through, he found the kitchen apparently empty. He took 3 steps forward, weapon raised, scanning left and right. Marcus dropped from above. He'd been balanced on the prep table overhang, invisible in the shadows. The knife went in clean and silent. Gunman 3 dropped without a sound. 1 down, 3 to go. Marcus took the man's pistol and radio, then repositioned. The kitchen had 2 entrances, the main swing doors and a service entrance that led to the alley. Perfect for tactical movement. Rodriguez, where are you? The leader's voice carried from the dining room. When Rodriguez didn't answer, the leader got nervous. Bobby, go check the kitchen. Gunman 2 approached the swing doors cautiously. Smart. He'd realized something was wrong. But Marcus wasn't in the kitchen anymore. He'd slipped out the service entrance and was coming around through the front. Bobby pushed through the doors, weapon ready, and found his partner's body. Oh, shh! Marcus appeared behind him like smoke. The cast-iron skillet caught Bobby in the base of the skull with 18 months of suppressed violence behind it. 2 down. The leader and Gunman 4 realized they'd lost contact with half their team. Panic was setting in. Everyone against the wall, now! The leader's voice cracked with stress. But Marcus wasn't everyone anymore. He was the hunter, and they were prey that didn't know they were being stalked. Gunman 4 was still watching the window when the service door opened behind him. Marcus moved across the dining room like a ghost, using booths and blind spots to stay invisible. The cleaver took Gunman 4 in the neck. He dropped instantly, weapon clattering across the floor. Now it was just the leader and 12 terrified hostages. Where are you? The leader screamed, spinning in circles, weapon pointing at shadows. I'll kill everyone in here. No, Marcus said quietly, stepping into view. You won't. The leader spun toward the voice and froze. The man facing him didn't look like a cook anymore. Marcus stood relaxed, balanced, a bloody cleaver in one hand and a pistol in the other. His eyes held the kind of calm that came from ending lives professionally. You know who I am? Marcus asked conversationally. The leader's gun shook in his hands. You're just a cook. Master Sergeant Marcus Thompson, Delta Force. 15 years hunting men like you in places you've never heard of. Marcus took a step forward. I've killed 186 people with my hands. Today makes 189. The leader raised his weapon, but his nerve was broken. Marcus moved like liquid mercury. The cleaver spun through the air, the gunman's weapon flew across the room, and suddenly Marcus had him on the ground in a chokehold that ended the threat permanently. 4 down, 12 lives saved. If this story gave you chills, you need to subscribe to The Last Salute right now. We find these incredible heroes and share their stories every week. Don't miss the next one. 20 minutes later, the Montana State Police arrived to find 4 dead robbers and 12 very grateful, very confused witnesses. Marcus was back in the kitchen, washing dishes like nothing had happened. His knives were clean, the blood was mopped up, and the only evidence of the carnage was 4 bodies in the dining room. The lead investigator found him scrubbing a pot. "You're the cook?" "Yes, sir." "You see what happened out there?" Marcus looked up with tired eyes. "Heard some commotion. Stayed in the kitchen like they told me. When it got quiet, I came out and found that." The investigator studied his face. 20-year veteran of law enforcement, and something about this cook didn't add up. The precision of the kills, the tactical efficiency, the fact that 4 armed professionals had been eliminated by kitchen accidents. But the witnesses all told the same story. The cook had hidden in the kitchen while someone, they couldn't quite remember who, had fought off the robbers. Nobody mentioned seeing Marcus Thompson do anything except flip burgers and wash dishes. 3 days later, Marcus was back on the morning shift. Same apron, same quiet efficiency, same invisible presence. Sarah noticed the difference, though. The way customers nodded at him with something that looked like respect. The way state troopers started stopping by for coffee and always made sure to thank the cook for the service. And the package that arrived with no return address. A single challenge coin with the Delta Force insignia and the words, "Once a warrior, always a warrior." Marcus pinned it inside his locker, next to his schedule and his time cards. Because some men don't retire from service, they just find new ways to serve. And in Tony's diner, Millfield, Montana, 12 people go to sleep every night, knowing that their guardian angel wears a grease-stained apron and flips the best burgers in 3 counties. Before you go, if this story moved you, subscribe to The Last Salute and hit that notification bell. Next week, we're telling the story of a taxi driver who rescued a kidnapped child using nothing but his knowledge of the city streets. You won't want to miss it. And remember, heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes they wear aprons. But when evil comes calling, they're exactly where they need to be. Drop a comment telling us about a hidden hero you've met. Until next time, this is The Last Salute, honoring the warriors who never stopped fighting.